Are you tired of nerds, no life in 99, and beating you to the top of the ladder, all because you have real-life responsibilities and a full-time job? Well, now you can. The proposed patch 2.5 for Diablo 2 Resurrected might have made the level 99 grind a bit more achievable for us filthy casuals. And if Blizzard keeps these terror zones as presented in the PTR, even with a few tweaks, all of us will have an amazing new way to reach the final level. However, you're gonna need to be prepared. This ain't your average type of challenge, and you can't control which area will be terrorized when you're ready to play. So you'll need to be ready to conquer anything with the class that you're trying to level. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the most powerful builds on each class that should be able to clear most terrorized areas that you find yourself in. But be sure to let me know what you would go with down in the comments. Let's start up with the FOH or Fist of Heaven's Paladin. This is the one that we all know and love from the PTR. This build proved that it has the ability to dominate most of these terror zones, even in P8 games. While Hammerdins are also powerful in these new terror zones, they will fall a bit short against magic immunes. That's especially something you don't want to happen in one of the best areas that can be terrorized, Palrash's Tomb. Because the FOH Paladin is the fastest slayer of all demons and undead monsters in the game, this will give you a fast track way to level 99 when these types of areas get terrorized. But even against regular animals of D2, FOH itself can be pretty damn powerful. While Fist of Heavens is weak against Act bosses, Holy Bolt, a necessary synergy for the build, cleans them up quite nicely. As you'll notice with any of these builds, you're going to want to aim for endgame gear. I've left a max roll link down in the description for a more detailed look on this build, and we'll link you to other resources as we go along as well. Next up, let's check out the Druid. For this class, I would highly suggest building a Wind or Tornado Druid on your quest to reach level 99. This character deals physical damage with Tornado and has some nice backup cold damage from Hurricane. We did an extensive deep dive on this build in a previous video, and I'll link you to it here. While Hell Mode difficulty doesn't contain many physical immune monsters, you may run into some, in which case I would highly suggest using Insight on your Mercenary for most of the areas to keep the mana flowing, but you'll also want to be able to switch to Reaper's Toll in your stash if an area does have a lot of physical immunes. In my experience in the PTR, it's best to just skip the regular monsters in these zones if you're trying to get through them quickly. The unique monsters are level 99, which is the equivalent of killing Hell Bale, and in this case, even better. So you'll want to headhunt these. Don't waste your time waiting for your merc to proc Decrepify on regular monsters that are physical immune. Spend your time wisely, and if you find yourself in this rare zone that contains a lot of physical immunes, just move on from the regular monsters. Next up, the Amazon. It may come as no surprise that the CS Javazon is the best choice for this challenge. While most of her elemental devastation comes in the form of lightning damage, she can also jab problematic monsters for an additional dose of physical damage. This will rarely be required, however, as your Mercenary's Conviction Aura from Infinity should break the immunity of most monsters anyway. Additionally, this is the best boss killer in the game, so when any of the end of act areas get terrorized, this build will be well equipped to deal with the act bosses. For that reason alone, this build is a very solid choice with or without terror zones when trying to reach level 99, and while she may run into problems with unique monsters that are immune to both physical and lightning damage, it's in your best interest to quickly move on from those ones and find large packs of enemies that can be taken down quickly with Lightning Fury. Or you can find weaker unique monsters that can practically be one-poked even on players 8. Next, let's look at the Assassin. The best terrorizer build in my opinion for the Assassin is the Spider Sin build, or the Whirl Girl. This is a Lightning Sentry based assassin that has access to Whirlwind via the Chaos rune word. Ever since the skill changes in patch 2.4, this build has become far more efficient. Now, we don't need more than one hard point into Death Sentry to take advantage of that sweet corpse explosion that it tends to cast. You can also gain access to this skill without putting a hard point into it if you find the right claws. Death Sentry and Whirlwind will allow you to deal physical damage to your foes, while Lightning Sentry will deal insane amounts of lightning damage. Additionally, you can slam all the extra points you have into Fire Blast and its synergies once you're done maxing the ones for Light Sentry. This will guarantee that there's not a monster in the game that you can't kill. While your Mercenary's Conviction Aura will break the immunity of most monsters, it's better to Whirlwind the natural lightning immunes after setting up some sentries. While this won't be the fastest killer on players 8, it will be the best build for the job in my opinion if you're running this class. Next up, the Barbarian. In a recent video, we talked about an insanely effective PvM build for the Barbarian. While it is a bit costly, it will most certainly be the best one for this challenge. I would highly suggest finding a Mana Leech or possibly a Dual Leech ring if you can to add to that build. However, I think that you'll find the hybrid Whirlwind Berserk Barbarian is the best choice for most areas of the game. As we talked about with the Wind Druid, not many monsters in the game are immune to physical damage, so Whirlwind will be quite effective here, especially with the added Crushing Blow from Last Wish. This will ensure that even the unique monsters that spawn with huge life totals at this level are felled quickly. If you do happen to run into a physical immune monster, no problem. Berserk converts all of your physical damage to magic and is a great way to take care of that problem. Next up, the Necro. Any Necromancer build for PvM will rely heavily on the skill Corpse Explosion to do most of its dirty work, but you'll still want to have the ability to address large groups of monsters quickly so that you can get that first kill. The best way to do this is to make a Poison Necro. I would suggest a slight hybrid for this particular challenge, however. After you've maxed all of your poison skills and put 1 point into lower resist, you should focus on putting your remaining points into revive and the supporting skills for it. This will give you the ability to take out act bosses, but I still wouldn't suggest wasting your time doing so in P8 games. Instead, move quickly to the level 99 unique monsters that are surrounded by minions that can be exploded. However, if taking down these act bosses is your thing, you can revive some hard-hitting Urdars or other monsters like this and curse the boss with Decrepify or Amp. Additionally, it's good to have revived monsters to protect you in these areas. But for act bosses, this will allow your summons and mercenary to take them down as fast as possible, as your Poison Nova won't be very effective against them. In general though, Corpse Explosion will be your go-to skill, so try to group monsters up and use this as much as possible. Lastly, let's talk about the Sorceress. Back in the days of LOD, when bots would farm just about any area in the game with their sorceresses, they were most typically lightning-based characters. That's because most lightning immunities in the game, as we know, can be broken with Infinity. Additionally, a Nova Sorceress is very efficient at clearing up mobs that inherently aren't lightning immune. Even if you run into problematic mobs or uniques, your mercenary's high physical output provides some nice damage diversity. While you will find yourself having to skip some areas that might be loaded with lightning immunes, this Sorceress currently is the best choice for most areas of Hell difficulty. Again, if you do find yourself in some of these places, you can easily run with fewer players or even solo. Another option that you have for leveling quickly is that you could let the group run the Terror Zone and take this Sorceress to do Chaos or Bale. She's easily able to do it on her own in Players 8 and will still rack in quite a bit of experience until the new Terror Zone appears. Which character will you reach your highest level with in these new Terror Zones? And more importantly, how do you feel about these Terror Zones? Let me know down in the comments and I'll catch you in the next video.